Hi there, and welcome to this author's reading. Imagine that you're going to leave everything that you knew, your career, your job, your family, friends, your house, your car, everything that you'd created, your country, and you're going to travel to the other side of the planet. And you're going to a place where no one knew you, where you had no job, where there was limited supplies of things that you were familiar with, and you simply had to begin creating a new life. Would you do it? But that's what we're going to talk about today. This book, The First 5 Years, Port Hedland, 1965 to 1970. Now, why would somebody just uproots and go and live in another country where they knew very little, strangers? Well, let's have a look at one of the chapters here and see what that reveals. This chapter is called Why? Immigrate to Australia? Why would two English people with young children, one starting school, good jobs and a supportive family, travel 12,000 miles away to live in Australia? That's the question my father, Reginald Edward Outram, asked me with some anger when I told him about my plans to emigrate. My mother, Dorothy, sat in tears and wouldn't look at me. I was 31 years old and my father was still able to make me nervous when he spoke that way. I had explained about the job opportunities, much better wages, and the chance to build a better life in a new country. He had shaken his head and looked away. He didn't understand. Perhaps he didn't want to understand. Mother had left and gone to her bedroom. In the early 60s, Molly and I lived with our two young children, Karen and Stephen, in a small caravan in the village of Brandon, Suffolk. I was working as an aircraft engineer, earning £11 a week, and Molly did part-time hairdressing that was mostly busy with the children. We had little money, no car, and our life in England was typical middle to lower class. Stephen had begun school, and I could see his life beginning much the same as mine had, and my life was following a similar pattern to my father's. I was hungry for more. The idea of Australia had really excited me, and while Molly was relatively happy living in England, she was willing to go. She told me that she didn't want me to say to her later in life that she'd held me back. We'd already made the application twice. The first one had been lost by the immigration people, and we'd had to go through the whole process again. Now we had been approved, paid the fees, and were getting ready to go. This caused a great difficulty for my father, and at one point he became quite bitter. He told me if I did this thing, this foolish trip to Australia, he would no longer consider me his son. Both of my parents were deeply disappointed that I was breaking up the family and taking their two grandchildren away, especially Stephen, who was the family name bearer. It was a heavy heart, but also a newfound determination to succeed, that I left their Sevenoaks house for the last time. Molly was an only child, and her parents, George and Rena Edwards, were not happy with me either. George was a tradesman, a master painter, and a clubman who liked his beer, and I copped the nasty side of his tongue one evening. It was hard for both of our relatives to accept that we were going, but I knew this was right for us, and I was going to make it work. We visited with Molly's parents in Bradford to say goodbye, and then went to my sister's home. Patricia lived in Portsmouth. All of the family would be there for Christmas Day, 1964. Her bungalow was a short distance from Southampton, where we would be leaving from, and they would drive us to the docks on Boxing Day. It was the last chance to see everyone and, hopefully, make some peace. My dad has made a beautiful model steamship. It's a Christmas present for Grandpa Outram. It has a big wooden wheel on the side, a red funnel and a green hull. I watched him put it all together, all of the tiny pieces. My dad is really clever. We are at Auntie Patricia and Uncle Peter's house in their lounge room with the fire crackling and it's time for presents. Grandad Outram is unwrapping his present and lifting away tissue paper. The model ship comes out of its box. My dad is there with him. A mast is broken and Dad says he will fix it. The model must have been bumped when we packed. Grandad puts the ship on top of the coffee table in front of him and turns away to talk to Uncle Peter. He hasn't smiled once. Did he like his present? My dad carefully picks up the model and takes it into the dining room to repair the mast at the table. He comes back later, leaving the ship in the other room. It's a funny Christmas.